Hi guys, now let's revise chapter number 4, cost management techniques. Do not forget to open the materials that were provided to you during the classes. In case you've attended my classes earlier, you can also refer to ICI study material or the notes that I'm using for the purpose of this revision. Now this chapter 4 guys, cost management techniques, comprises of 3 broad headings. You have cost control, cost reduction and environmental management accounting. Under cost reduction guys, we have target costing, we have life cycle costing, target costing and life cycle costing. Under cost control guys, we have Pareto analysis, and then guys we have a standalone topic, environmental management accounting. So let's directly start guys. To understand this chapter, you should exactly know what is the difference between cost control and cost reduction. This is also the very first concept that we learn guys as a part of our IPCC CA intermediate cost and management accounting. Now, the difference between cost control and cost reduction is all about understanding. Under cost control, we are trying to stick to targets. We are trying to stick to the budgets. We are not questioning the standards. We are not questioning the budgets. But under cost reduction, we question the standards. We improvise the standards. We improvise the budgets. If the company says that 10 rupees per unit is the cost at which you should be manufacturing a product, under cost control, we will try to stick to that 10 rupees. But under cost reduction, we will question that 10 rupees and say, why not manufacture the product at 9.5 rupees? Why can't we improvise the standard? Why can't we look at better ways of managing our operations and reduce the overall cost incurred? So undoubtedly guys, cost reduction is something that an organization would want to be able to deliver the product to the consumer guys at and also make a reasonable amount of profit. That would be a win-win situation for everyone. Cost control, do not forget guys, might impact the quality of the product. Cost control might impact the quality of a product because you are trying to stick to the targets. In the process of trying to stick to the targets, when the performance of the employees are evaluated based on such variances, you might see better that the performances are impacted. If I ask a labor to manufacture 50 units in 1 hour, what if he is unable to do it, but just to try to achieve the target he manufactures defective products? Then yes, quality is impacted. Cost reduction guys is by looking at ways of reducing the cost, a permanent reduction in the cost per unit without compromising on the quality of the product. So yes, cost reduction is any day superior to your cost control. That's about the difference between cost control and cost reduction. Now, what exactly, or where will you see better avenues for cost reduction? The scope of cost reduction, the major scope of reduction guys, cost reduction is always at the design phase. You can go back to the design phase, look at different the design of the product, see if it can be simplified, see if you can substitute parts, see if there are better ways of manufacturing the products, can you refine the product. That is going back to the design phase of the product as such guys, and trying to reduce the cost of the product. Organization as such guys, the way your organization is structured guys would also determine the cost that is being incurred. The way your organization is designed better would also determine the cost. Factory layout and equipment, if the factory layout, just say we spoke about cellular manufacturing guys or working cells concept in the previous chapter revision guys, so undoubtedly better your factory layout would also determine the extent to which cost can be reduced. The equipments that you're using guys, if they're latest technologies or they're old equipments, that would also determine guys, is there preventive maintenance, breakdown maintenance, all of that would determine your cost per unit. Production plan, program and method as such guys, how well are you planning your production? Is there any last minute changes to your production as such guys? Are the operations flexible enough? All of that guys will also determine your cost per unit. So yes, there's a lot of scope guys for cost reduction at multiple places. So under cost reduction guys, the very first topic that we have is target costing. The very first step better that we have is target costing. Target costing guys is all about understanding that in majority of the cases, selling price is market determined. You will not be in a position to determine the selling price. Either there are already competitors in place in the market guys, or the consumers will, even if there is no competition, the consumers will not want to pay more than a particular price for the value that you are delivering to the end consumer, for the value that is being delivered. So target costing is all about determining the likely price at which you will be able to sell your product first. Now, if the product has too much of competition as such better, that would be your competitor's price or a little below your competitor's price. Otherwise guys, you will have to price your product based on the value that is being delivered to the customer. So target costing guys involves about determining the target selling price of the product It is about determining the target selling price. Once you determine the target selling price, you will have to determine what is the amount of profit that you are supposed to make in order to survive in the long run. What profit would be sufficient to recover a return on all of your investment for the risk that you have taken. That is determining target profit. Once you've set target selling price, once you've set target profit, guys, then comes the difference between these two target cost. The cost at which you should be manufacturing a product, the cost at which you should be manufacturing the product. I am not telling you beta that your actual cost will be equal to target cost. Your actual cost undoubtedly beta can differ from target cost. This is where, guys, you will have to implement all your cost reduction techniques and try to achieve that target cost, so that we are able to provide the product to the consumer at the desired price and are also able to make the desired level of profit. That is target costing all about. You compute target price, you compute target profit, and the balancing figure would be your target cost. You will be comparing your target cost with the actual cost to determine, guys, what should be done to achieve that target cost. Where can the company work to reduce the cost per unit? So that is why we say beta that target costing is a structured approach to determine the cost at which a proposed product with specified functionality, you are not going to compromise on the quality that is required to be delivered to the consumer. We are not talking about reducing the value that the customer will derive out of it. A proposed product with a specified functionality and quality must be produced to generate a desired level of profitability at its anticipated selling price. You have anticipated the selling price, you want a desired level of profit, that is target selling price and target profit. And then, guys, based on these two, you're determining at what cost should you be manufacturing a product in order to ensure that you're delivering the right quality product without compromising on the functionality of the product. So undoubtedly, I just told you this, but based on product requirement and market analysis, you will determine the target selling price, you will determine the target profit, and the balance, guys, would automatically be your target cost. Now, what are the advantages of target costing? The most important advantage of target costing, guys, is that it is a proactive approach to cost management. It is not that, guys, you are undertaking cost reduction because your profitability has gone for a toss or because of sudden changes in the market scenarios. You are being proactive in your approach. You are foreseeing all of this as such, guys, without actually waiting for profits to reduce. You are implementing all of this. Guys. Ek kahavat hai beta, I told you many things beta. I keep saying, if you are ensuring that you are cutting your cost even when you are making profits, the probability of you incurring losses will be negligible. When you are thinking about cost reduction, even when you make profits, undoubtedly better the probability of you incurring losses would be minimum. So that is a proactive approach to cost management. Foster partnerships with suppliers. In your search for cost reduction as such, guys, undoubtedly there will be strategic partnerships with your suppliers as such, guys, wherein you will try to reduce the cost per unit. You will work with them collectively to see how the raw materials can be designed separately, and you will be able to simplify the design of your own product. We have learned about this beta under EFQM also, the European Foundation for Quality Management. 5 enablers mein beta, one enabler is partnerships and resources, guys. Partnerships with your suppliers. Reduce time to market as such beta. Simplified designs of the product as such, guys, will ensure that you're able to deliver the product faster in the market. Minimize, undoubtedly, guys, if you want to reduce cost, that is what we have learned in the previous chapter, guys. Lean system and innovation, guys. Lean system is all about cost reduction, please do not forget that. So we have learned under lean system, guys, that the objective is to eliminate all non-value added activities. By doing that, you will be able to reduce the cost per unit of the product. So you will minimize non-value added activities as such, guys, and even among the value added activities, you will ensure that you're selecting the least cost value added activity without compromising on the functionality. Yes, it is a value added activity, but is there a possibility of performing the same at the least possible cost? It reinforces top to bottom commitment to process and product innovation. We have learned this in the previous chapter again, guys. Lean system and innovation. Only if you keep looking at new ways of performing the production services, delivery services, support systems, guys, you will be able to reduce cost in the long run. You will be able to reduce cost. Keynesian costing bhi dekh lo beta, that we have learned in the previous chapter. Even that is your cost reduction technique. Market driven approach. You are targeting cost reduction based on what the market wants, based on not what you want, the modern business environment. So I hope you've understood what are the advantages of target costing as such, guys. Most important advantage, you're reducing your cost per unit. How are you doing that? By partnerships with your suppliers, eliminating non-value added activities, value added activities at the least possible cost. You're being proactive in your approach, for which you will be paid off in the long run, guys. There will be top to down involvement of all employees in cost reduction. Features of target costing system, guys. The most important, I hope you're all I hope you've all understood, guys, or you've recollected what are all the advantages of target costing system. Now, as far as features of target costing system are concerned, guys, please understand when you're implementing target costing, guys, it would form an integral part of your product design. You are anticipating the selling price. You have already determined your target profit as such, guys. Based on that, you have a specified amount of target cost in your mind. So when you're designing the product, you will have to keep that target cost in your mind. When you're designing the product as such, guys, you will have to keep that design target cost in your mind. That is why we say, but it is an integral part of design and introduction of new products. It is an integral part of design and introduction of new products. The target selling price is determined using various sales forecasting techniques and design specifications. That might involve, guys, estimating the likely price. You might implement pricing decisions also. Pricing decisions better. Okay, at this particular price, what is the quantity that the market will absorb? At this price, what is the quantity that the market will try to absorb? So using sales forecasting techniques, guys, and design specifications, you will implement target price. You should also see better your own target production volumes while you set your target selling price, because based on the amount of quantity that you will be manufacturing, guys, the selling price will also change. Finally, better you will know what is the amount of cost reduction that you will have to achieve. Once you know what is the target cost, once you know what is the actual cost, likely cost, then you will know better what is the amount of cost that is to be reduced. All of these better are features of target costing system. It is integral to your design phase. Target selling price can be estimated using sales forecasting technique, should also be based on your anticipated production volumes. And after that, you will compare your actual cost with target cost to know what are the desired, what are the cost reduction targets. The components of target costing system, guys, another important point. Under this beta, we talk about value analysis and value engineering. Value analysis or value engineering, guys, both of them concentrates on study of all your activities and trying to identify what are value added and non-value added activities, thereby eliminating non-value added activities altogether. The objective is clear, guys. You will make a study of your entire processes, identify what are value added and non-value added activities, eliminate non-value added activities, and see if there are better ways of performing value added activities. The only difference between value analysis and value engineering is that value engineering beta is in relation to a new product. Value analysis is in relation to a product which is already into production. Value analysis, guys, is in relation to a product already being produced. Value engineering is in respect of a new product that is to be launched. Now, what are the issues that you deal with under value analysis or value engineering? Let it be value analysis or value engineering. What are that we are talking about? See, guys, the simple questions that you will be asking yourself. Can we eliminate functions from production process? Is there a possibility that we skip step 1 and directly jump to step 2? That should not have any impact on the quality of the product. Can we eliminate some durability or reliability? We spoke about this better under the aspects of quality, guys. TQM, if you remember, quality management better, I defined what is quality. I said there are different dimensions of quality. Not always you are supposed to give the best possible reliability, best possible durability. See what the consumer wants. Can you reduce on the durability aspect? Can you reduce on the reliability aspect based on the consumer preferences? Can we minimize the design? Design simplifications would always cost the least possible cost, especially, guys, in assembly industries. Target costing is heavily used in assembly industries. Automobile sector ले लो बेटा, cell phone manufacturing ले लो. यहाँ पे, guys, all the components are manufactured separately. In the end, they are assembled. If the design is very complicated, your assembly cost will be very high. If the design is very simplified as such, beta, your assembly cost would be very less. Like most of the cell phone assembly plants that we have in India, guys, we know a majority of the components are imported. We only assemble them in India. Still, guys, if the design is simplified, remember the assembly cost would be very, very less. Very, very less. So yes, can the design be simplified? Can we design the product better? If not simplification as such, guys, can there be drastic changes to the product design? Can there be drastic changes to the product design? Can we substitute parts? Like car manufacturers, can we use a fiber body instead of metallic bodies as such, guys? How there are cheaper variants of cell phones being launched. So that is better. Can we substitute parts? Can we combine multiple steps? Can we combine step 1, step 2, step 3 and make a combine them into one single step so that we can reduce cost? Can we take suppliers assistance, fostering a relationship with your suppliers? Can we ask them to contribute towards cost reduction here? Can they improvise on their processes so that we reduce cost? Is there a better way of performing things that we are doing? So all of these questions, guys, are asked are answered under value analysis and value engineering, which is an integral part of target costing. These steps are usually value analysis and value engineering, guys, being an integral part of target costing. So it's all about, can we eliminate functions? Can we combine steps? Can we skip steps? Can we substitute raw materials as such, guys? Can we simplify the design? Can we design the product differently altogether? And can we take supplier's assistance? Is there a better way of performing the task in hand? All of these questions you are answering, guys, under value analysis and value engineering. So we have spoken about the advantages of target costing. We have spoken about the features of target costing. We have spoken about the components of target costing. Remember, guys, target costing is a very, 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 very important topic. Very, very important topic as such, guys. You can expect all the topics of this chapter, guys, are very, very important. Every topic of this chapter, beta, is very, very important. So yes, you will have to ensure, beta, that you revise it properly. There is a possibility of a practical question, guys. Practical question will come, has been coming for 20 marks. They can combine target costing with just in time also, like they've done in the past. And they might ask a 4 or 5 marker theory along with this. So be prepared, guys. Everything has come in the examination. Pareto analysis, target costing, your environmental management accounting, सब कुछ आ चुका है बेटा एग्जाम में. Life cycle costing has come for 20 marks in the exam. So yes, be prepared properly. So guys, now note, guys, it is not just value analysis and value engineering. Kaizen costing will also be implemented. Kaizen costing is also an integral part of target costing. Target costing is cost reduction, guys. Everything that will result in cost reduction, guys, every possible thing that is resulting in cost reduction will be an integral part of target costing. Target costing is telling us this is the cost reduction target. You will have to reduce your cost by so much. क्या करना है, you know. Value analysis, value engineering, Kaizen costing, just in time, whatever you want to implement and try to reduce the cost per unit. That is why you see, beta, target costing can be clubbed with just in time also. Target costing, beta, can be clubbed with just in time. Now, what are the problems with target costing, beta, here? The first problem, beta, is that this can actually take a lot of time. Because the design department might have to continuously come with huge iterations of design, guys, and finally come to a conclusion that this design will meet the desired requirements. ऐसा नहीं है बेटा कि the very first time you're trying to design the product, guys, you will get your desired result. You may have to continuously change whatever is being implemented as such, beta, whatever is being designed. Various design modifications will be carried out as such, guys. Cost cutting can result in finger pointing in various parts of the company. Imagine I tell the production department that you will have to reduce your cost by 20%, while I tell my purchase department that you have to reduce your cost by only 5%. What if my purchase department questions ki bloody hell, production department questions ki you are asking me to reduce cost by 20%, well, purchase department is being asked to reduce cost by only 5%. Why such deviations? So it can result in finger pointing, guys. If the target of one department is way too high and the target of the other department is way too less, we will be learning this as a drawback, guys, under performance measurement and evaluation also. All the topics are interrelated, guys. That's the beauty of the subject. Representative from number of departments, beta, can make it difficult to reach consensus. We all know this, guys. As the number of heads, number of minds increase, guys, obviously the number of arguments will increase and it will be difficult to reach to a common conclusion. So you will need better people. You will need people who can actually be a part of the team and not just lead the team. Team leaders are important. At the same time, guys, you should also have people working with you who can understand others' opinion and go and do something that is in the best interest of the organization. It might have an impact on the quality due to cheap components. In your this thing, but a desire to meet the cost reduction targets, you have actually used very cheap components that is impacting the quality of the product. Then yes, the name of the company, the brand image of the company is at stake. You will need details of a very huge amount of cost data, guys, for you to actually implement this effectively. Where all is the cost being incurred? What are the cost drivers? Everything. But it is not just about knowing material cost itna hai, labor itna hai, overheads are so much. Induku, why are you incurring that? What are the cost drivers behind it? Detailed cost data would be required, guys. Okay? Good team leader is required to retain strong control over the entire team. Perfect, guys. So these are the problems with target costing. Advantages done, problems done, guys. Features of target costing done. Finally, guys, most useful situations. This has come in the examination. Most useful situations. Just a minute, guys. Yes, guys, there was some problem with the iPad connectivity. Anyways, beta, the most useful situations for target costing. I spoke about this, guys, a couple of times back only. I said, guys, parts ka design simplification. So this target costing, guys, is basically used in those cases, beta, where a majority of the cost gets logged in during your research and development phase only. What are you saying, sir? Your research and development phase will determine what is the amount of cost that you're going to incur on a later date. You are designing the product in such a way, beta, that your production cost, you will not be able to save much cost later unless and until you come back to the design phase and reduce the cost. So yes, target costing is most useful, beta, in those situations where costs are logged in. I am not telling you have incurred. Costs are logged in during the design phase itself. That will also take us to the next topic, beta, life cycle costing, wherein we'll be talking about this point only. So majorly beta your target costing guys is used in assembly industries where a lot of parts are manufactured separately guys and they're assembled in the end. Heavy diversification of product lines. If there's heavy diversification of product lines as such guys, there will be a scope for cost reduction. Use technologies for factory automation as such guys. The companies that are using technologies, latest technologies as such beta in a search for reducing the cost per unit guys, they replace their variable cost per unit with their fixed cost. Higher amount of fixed cost, lesser variable cost. They have experienced shorter product life cycles. The product has gone out of the market in shorter phases. So this is where beta they will have to estimate what is the target cost well in hand so that they're able to maintain that desired level of profit. You cannot cry about it later that you were unable to recover the cost of the product also. And of course, target costing has always been implemented with just in time. Your answer beta will be a majority of the cost gets logged in during the design phase. It is useful for assembly oriented industries, and then the other points will follow. Heavy diversification of product lines using technologies for factory automation, shorter product life cycles, and along with just in time. Remember, all of these beta can come as parts of comments. They might ask you to state the advantages, they might ask you to state the problems, they might ask you to state the most useful scenarios. Just this has come as in the examination already. What are the most useful situations for target costing? So remember, you will have to, remember all of these points, guys, to answer the practical question and score full marks. It is not difficult, guys, to score 85 plus in the examination in strategic cost management and performance evaluation. Not at all difficult. The problem is that we think that we know the comment part accurately. So you will have to work on that also. So while practicing questions, you forget the comment part. Do not forget, beta, you will have to practice those parts also. You should know how to present them in the examination. To what extent are they required? For all of that, guys, it is during preparation that you'll have to go through those points also, not just beta directly in the examination. Practice is required for that part also. So yes beta, that brings us to the end of target costing under cost reduction. Now the next concept beta is life cycle costing. What exactly is life cycle costing, guys? Now life cycle costing, guys, is all about identifying the cost and revenues over a product's life cycle. All of us know better that a product goes through 4 different phases. We divide the phases better into 4 categories. There is the initial beta embryonic stage, what you call it as beta, or the introduction phase of a product. Then comes the growth of a product. Introduction of a product is growth phase, maturity phase, and the decline phase. Introduction, growth, maturity beta, and then the decline or the death of a product. So this beta life cycle costing is all about identifying the cost and revenues over the product's life cycle. Now when you try to identify or estimate a product's cost and revenues well in hand beta, it will help you in maximizing the profit that you will be able to derive from the product. Objective is to maximize profit by identifying cost and revenues over a product's life cycle. This is useful beta life cycle costing again when a majority of your costs are logged in during the design phase. The design of the product is determining, guys, what are the costs that you will incur. Remember, guys, research and development cost might be around 10 to 20% of the total cost. Production cost might be a major chunk, 50 to 60%. But what is the likely production cost that you're going to incur on a later date, guys, is going to be included, is going to be determined by your design phase. This also came as a part of the comment in the examination, guys. So though design phase involves, guys, incurring only 10 to 20% cost, it will determine approximately 70 to 80%. The design might not determine, guys, your delivery cost, sales cost. Okay? Delivery and selling and distribution is also a part of the total cost, but design is not deciding that. So 70 to 80%, guys, cost of major products, manufacturing products, are logged in during the design phase. This is where beta life cycle costing will better help you in taking decisions. A product life cycle beta is all about understanding the pattern of revenues, pattern of cost, profitability, guys, over the life cycle of a product. Always remember, guys, the selling price per unit is not going to remain constant throughout the life cycle of a product. The cost per unit is not going to remain constant. The profitability is not going to remain constant. Even this part came as a comment in the examination, guys. Every point that I'm discussing, guys, is important for examination. Listen carefully, guys. They might ask you how the profit per unit will change, how the cost per unit will change, how the selling price per unit will change. Undoubtedly beta, in the introduction phase when the volumes are very less, your cost per unit might be more. Later guys, gradually as the labor becomes more used to the product, because of learning curve impact as such guys, you will see that the wage cost, labor cost per unit is gradually reducing. Because of bulk manufacturing guys, you'll see economies of scale and the material cost per unit is reducing, material wastages will come down, and the cost per unit beta will slightly stabilize beta during your maturity phase. And when the production starts decreasing again, you will see your cost per unit starts shooting up again as such beta. So that cost per unit will change. Selling price per unit will again depend upon the strategy that an organization is following. Is it skimming strategy? Is it penetration strategy? Will they charge a low price and gradually increase price guys and then start reducing prices again, or will they follow a skimming strategy? So you should understand better that the selling price per unit, cost per unit, the sales volume, the volumes at different levels will be different guys throughout the life cycle of a product. The profitability will be different. So that is product life cycle guys, understanding the pattern of all of this, which will help you in taking decisions again. So you should know better. Life cycle costing is about knowing the cost and revenues over a product's life cycle, maximizing profit better from a particular product. So this is the graph beta which shows that you will have your introduction phase, then there will be growth phase where the sales are continuously increasing, and then beta with the maturity phase, growth rate is almost flattened guys, or it is marginally growing, and then beta you will have the decline phase. Now guys, there are too many points beta in relation to all of these 4 stages, so I have directly copied the content of my material here as such guys. You might say that I was too lazy to write all of these, but remember these points have come for 12 marks in the examination. What we are going to discuss in the next 2-3 minutes or next 5 minutes are the different characteristics and strategies of the different stages of a product life cycle. Characteristics and strategies guys of different product life cycle stages. In the examination guys, once is given as 2 characteristics, 1 strategy, jumbled. 2 characteristics, 1 strategy of every stage as such guys, and he simply said identify which comes under what for 12 marks guys. First question in the examination was this compulsory question. Very easy beta if you know the meaning of all of these, if you understand the concept. Very easy. You will sure score beta 12 on 12 if such a question comes in the examination. So when you say introduction phase as such beta, it is all about, you should know beta that the product has just been launched in the market. Because the product is new as such beta, you will see that there is minimum awareness and acceptance of it. Not many consumers will be aware of it beta. Not many consumers must have accepted the product yet. It is not like you hit a volume of 10 lakh units, 20 lakh units in the very first month as such guys of introducing the product in the market. Like how beta there's a new air purifier that came in the market guys, so they are now offering the first 500 units guys at a discount of 50%. First 500 units. This is all about creating customer awareness. Let people know that yes, there is a new product in the market, it's a better technology. Once beta people are aware of this, they will start charging the normal price. So yes, because the product is new beta, there is minimum awareness and acceptance of the product. Competition will be negligible as such guys if it is something new to the entire market. If you've already launched a product that is available in the market beta, then forget about all of this. The way you are looking at the product life cycle will be slightly different. You will obviously not be making any profit beta, negligible profits or losses, because you might have to incur heavily beta on research, heavily guys on promotion of the expenditure guys, and on distribution of the product. So you might not actually make huge amount of profits guys in the introduction phase. The length beta would obviously differ. You cannot come to a conclusion beta that every product will have 1 year of introduction phase, 2 years of this. Nahi hota beta. ठीक है? Characteristics beta, what do you normally see among different products during what is normally seen are the characteristics guys, strategies. What should you be doing as such guys? What should you be doing during the introduction phase? Understand beta, it is important to differentiate between a characteristic and a strategy also. Under characteristics guys, the most important point is there are decisions taken about the product branding, packaging and labeling. Now you will wonder, is it very important? Undoubtedly beta, the way you brand your product, the way you pack your product and label it plays a very important role as such guys. Look at that online manufacturing company beta, cosmetics company guys. Wow, it has done wonders guys. They launched their products long back, they failed it. Now they've branded the product properly, labeled it properly and relaunched it. They're doing wonders. High distribution and promotional expenses. You will normally see beta that introduction phase mein there is huge amount of promotion and distribution expenditure. Profits are very less or negative. Pricing might be low. It will depend upon the strategy that you are following. These are all the common things that you will see in the introduction phase. Common things beta that you will see in the introduction phase is that the profits are very negligible or low guys. You might charge a very low price or a very high price. You will have to incur huge amount of promotional and distribution expenditure. You will incur huge efforts guys to attract various marketing channels. ये क्या है guys? It is not like beta every product that is launched is preferred by Amazon, is preferred by Flipkart. You will have to portray yourself as a brand, guys, so that they make you an exclusive partner and they are interested to sell your product exclusively as such, guys. Not every store beta DMart or Ratnadeep will want to put your product. You will have to again show a great brand. If your product is known, guys, they will come behind you. They will come behind you. If your product beta is not well marketed as such, guys, you will have to keep running among behind all of these people. Aggressive promotional efforts to increase awareness. Right now beta, it is not about forcing consumers to buy the products. It is about letting the market know that yes, we exist, we are a brand, we have launched a product into the market. That is product awareness as such beta. Product refinements. Into introduction phase beta, you are not talking about refining the product. Product refinements will come at a later stage, growth phase and maturity phase as such beta. Abhi you are not refining the product. You might see very few competitors offering very basic version of the products. They are not matching your this thing better. Focus on those buyers who are most ready to buy. इसको हम लोग बोलते हैं innovators. These are the people, guys, who are always willing to try out new products. So your focus is only on those consumers in the beginning who are willing to pay, who are willing to try new products. So these are the normal things better that you will see, guys, in the introduction phase. Always remember, guys, the points that you will remember better is focus on those buyers who are most ready to pay, guys. बाकी पूरे आर नॉर्मल गाइज. यू विल नो दैट देयर आर हाई अमाउंट ऑफ डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन एंड प्रमोशनल एक्सपेंडिचर. यू विल नो बेटा दैट यू हैव टू टेक डिसीजंस अबाउट प्रोडक्ट ब्रांडिंग, लेबलिंग एंड एवरीथिंग. ठीक है. What are the strategies that you will implement? Every organization strategy beta is to attract customers by raising awareness of the product beta through promotion activities. Every company will implement a strategy about attracting customers, guys, by raising awareness of the product, inducing customers to try and buy the product. Bhai try karke buy karo. You will keep forcing them as such beta. Matlab that is how beta the product awareness will keep increasing. Strengthening or expanding channel and supply chain relationships. बीच में बेटा एक product आया था. I gave you a lot of examples, guys, as far as life cycle costing is concerned in the live classes beta. हाँ. I must have given about Dandi cement also. Dandi cement ne beta, Dandi salt, an amazing product as such beta, which failed drastically only because they did not have the right distribution network. Right distribution network plays a very important role in the success of your product. So strengthening or expanding channel and supply chain relationships. Strengthening or expanding channel and supply chain relationships, like how Mahindra and Mahindra beta has tied up with Java, some vehicle again. ठीक है. Building on the availability and the visibility of the product that will boost channel intermediaries better to support the product. Unless and until better you are marketing the product properly, guys, why will the storekeepers put the product? दोनों things better. The storekeepers should be motivated to keep your product. For that they should be knowing better that your product is really well, and the consumers also should be aware. Merely putting the product at the store will not help you in selling the product as such, guys. Consumers should demand your product. So customer awareness is important. Building your supply chain better is also very important. So strengthening or expanding supply chain relationships, guys. Remember, this part is very important as such, guys. You will attract customers by raising awareness of the products. Most of them, guys, you do not have to mug up. You'll automatically recollect in the examination because these are all common sense points. So under introduction phase, guys, the most common strategy that you are seeing is that they're trying to attract customers by raising awareness. They will strengthen their promotional activities, guys. They will strengthen their supply chain, distribution network. The next one beta is very important. Growth stage, guys. Under growth stage, you will see beta that the volumes are drastically increasing as such, guys. Customer awareness ho chuka hai beta. Everyone is aware of your product now. Everyone is buying your product as such, guys. Everyone is buying your product. So the sales are continuously increasing, guys. And the growth rate in sales is increasing. Sales is increasing by 5%, 6%, 7%. You see the growth rate there beta is continuously increasing. That is growth phase beta. Okay? This is where beta you will see that a lot of competition is kicking in. People will see that you are making huge amount of business here. So there will be a lot of competitors stepping in beta and try to take a share of your market. So what are the common features that you will see bit of growth phase? There's high volume of business and the competition is undoubtedly increasing. Sales will keep increasing at an increased rate, as I just said. New channels to handle additional volumes and new markets. One place beta was purely online. Now it has entered into brick and mortar. As the sales are continuously increasing, guys, they want more visibility. They want more service centers. So that is why they are now, putting up so many brick and mortar sales. Brick and mortar matlab beta ye offline stores. You see beta OnePlus stores are coming up all across the city. So new channels beta, distribution channels to handle additional volumes as such, guys. Shift of emphasis beta from product awareness to product conviction. Product sabko malum hai beta. Now you're trying to convince the customers. First beta your objective was to ensure that customers know you exist. Now you're trying to tell them we are the best. We are the best. That is product conviction, guys. Overall strategy, what do you want better here is most important. Do you want a very high market share or do you want high profitability? You will have to trade off somewhere between them as such, guys. Determine what is the likely volume at which you will be operating. Improving or adding features, guys, or strategic lowering of prices. Product refinements आना शुरू हो जाएंगे बेटा. You'll keep adding more and more features in your product, guys, so that you keep attracting customers. Sales promotion spending slightly higher, guys. You will keep spending the same amount on promotional activities or even increase it. You will have to keep educating the market, guys. The length of the growth stage will again vary. Perfect. Strategies, guys. Your objective beta is to now establish a clear brand identity that you are the best. You are establishing that brand identity beta. Brand identity, not bride, guys. Brand identity through promotional campaigns. Maintain control over product quality, guys. Just because your business is increasing so much, that does not mean, guys, you forget the fact that you'll have to still maintain product quality. We know beta, a lot of businesses fail. A lot of businesses fail beta only because they're unable to handle the increased volumes. They fail to understand that they'll have to still, maintain the product quality. Maximize availability of the product through strong distribution channel. Consumers want to buy your product. Ensure that the products are available. If the products are not available as such, guys, you are not simply handling the increased volumes. Like how Hemji Hector beta decided that they will shift from one phase, one shift to two shifts as such, guys, so that they were able to manufacture more and deliver the products more. Find an ideal balance between price and demand as per price elasticity. Overall strategy shifts from acquisition to retention of customers, motivating product trial to repeat purchases better, and building brand loyalty. Development of long-term relationship with customers and partners at the customer maturity stage, guys. If you develop a very long-term relationship here, you will ensure better that at maturity stage, when the volumes are stagnant, you will have brand loyalty. Customers will stick to your brand. For that, you have to work now only. Value-based pricing strategies can be considered better here because the competition is kicking in and there are huge volumes. You will have to differentiate from your competitors. So value-based pricing strategies. Leverage the product's perceived differential advantage. Try to market your product differentiation strategy better, that you are offering a product much better than the others. All of these better the strategies that a company can implement, guys, under your growth phase. Yaad rakhna beta, this is what companies do as such, guys. All of these are practically relatable, guys. Maturity phase beta, during maturity beta, the sales continue to increase but at a decreasing rate, and then the sales start decreasing in the decline phase. Matlab your sales are growing at say beta 6%, 5%, 4%, 3%. The growth rate in sales is decreasing, guys. That is your maturity phase. This usually happens beta when the entire industry has overcapacity. You have seen so many players entering into the market as such beta that there are overcapacity. Supply is more than demand. This is where consolidation will come into picture, guys. A lot of industries, a lot of companies will go out. The ones who are not financially stable beta will go out, will vanish, and again beta, a new phase of life will come to other companies. There is overcapacity in the industry. The competition has intensified as such, guys. Population growth and replacement demand govern future sales. Everyone has tried out the market as such, guys. So it is all about whether, जैसे बेटा iPhone, majority, it has now been launched in major countries as such, guys. ठीक है? iPhone beta major countries में all आ चुका है beta. Now the only way beta that they look at is demographics of a country. If the population is increasing, demand will increase. If the population is increasing by 2% every year, let the demand for cell phones increase by 2% as such, guys. Replacement. The one who has used iPhone 7, iPhone 8 will most likely buy an iPhone 11, iPhone 12. The one who has used iPhone 9 will most like how one who has used OnePlus 5 will most likely buy OnePlus 8. So that is replacement demand. You are looking at replacement demand. You're looking at population growth. Some laggard buyers will still enter the market, guys. Someone who's not tried your product, someone who was using, say, guys, an Apple product earlier, now wants to shift to OnePlus to try the product. So you might see a little shift beta from one company to the other company. Profits will start to decline, guys. There are no more distribution channels to fill. Online, offline, sab kuch ho chuka hai beta. Customers start moving towards products, other products better and substitutes. Strong marketing challenges, very high amount of research and development budget, because this is where better you know that you'll have to launch a new product, guys. Launch a new product during the decline phase of such better, so that you're able to maintain profitability. So the strategies that you will be using better here is strong marketing efforts are needed to win over the competitors' customers. You will have to win over your competitors' customers. That is how you will likely to maintain demand. Product features may be improved or enhanced. Keep improving product features. We have seen that under this thing also, but a growth phase also, that you will keep refining your product. Prices will have to be reduced to attract price sensitive customers as such, guys. Various sales promotion incentives are necessary for the consumers as well as the company better to maintain the demand. distributors become more intensive, and you'll have to offer them more incentives as such, guys, so that they stick to your product. This is where the margins to distributors will increase. If your competitor is offering 10% margin to a distributor, you might offer 11%, you might offer 12% as such, guys. That is where is strategy implemented. Decline phase, beta, this is where the sales volume start reducing. I hope you've understood introduction phase, growth phase, and maturity phase. Remember, beta, we're trying to quickly revise the entire topic, guys, in as little time as possible. Decline phase, guys, फिर भी इतना ज़्यादा टाइम हो चुका है, बट एनीवेज बेटा, डिक्लाइन फेज as such, बेटा, here if you see the characteristics as such, availability of better and less costly substitutes in the market, the sales of the products, beta, might drop down to zero level or will continuously keep decreasing. Sales decline for a number of reasons. They might be technological advances as such, guys, or the customer's taste is completely shifted, like how people are no longer buying DSLR cameras as such, beta. Very few people will buy a DSLR camera because most of the cell phones are meeting the needs of a picture requirement. Profits will start declining and they might become negative, guys. Number of organizations producing the product will drastically reduce. The strategy that you'll have to maintain, beta, is either keep the product so that you are able to satisfy the demand of your loyal customers. You will not want to lose your loyal customers. Use this as a phase, beta, to launch a new product. You will have to offer, better, to loyal customers of this. Firm can discontinue the product, find a replacement product, and then, guys, you should know whether you want to give the product a new lease of life or should you drop the product altogether. Okay, guys. This is about the 4 stages as such, of product life cycle. Understand the importance of life cycle costing, guys. About knowing how your selling price per unit, cost per unit, profit per unit will change. Understand the different features and strategies under different product life cycle stages. So characteristics of product life cycle, guys, I have just spoken about all of this, beta. Now I told you, beta, that all the products will have finite lives. They will pass through different phases as such, guys. So understanding product life cycle will help you, beta, in determining the strategies or deciding upon the strategies that you're supposed to implement in your business organization. That is the most important advantage as such, guys. And then you know, beta, that at each stage, guys, you will have a different emphasis. Design phase, beta, you will have huge amount of research and development cost, while cost control will be your objective, beta, during the maturity and the decline phase. The benefits, beta, is that you will be able to take actions much earlier as such, guys, because you are estimating all of this. You can take actions, beta, to increase revenues, guys, or lower cost. It is more accurate and realistic assessment. Long-term rewards in contrast to short-term profitability. Do not look at only 1 year's product profit, guys. Look at the product profit that you're most likely to make over the life cycle. It provides a long-term picture, guys, and can be used for controlling manufacturing cost. Remember, the benefits of product lifecycle costing are also very, very important, guys. I repeat again, beta, target costing is very important, lifecycle costing is very important, Pareto analysis is very important, environmental management accounting is very important. This should be like the category A, beta, for your revision one day before the examination. Category A रहना चाहिए, beta, for revision one day before the exam. Do not forget that, beta. Very, very important topic. Now, guys, coming down to the next topic is Pareto analysis. This comes under cost control. Pareto analysis was also covered as a part of your CA intermediate, guys, materials chapter, cost and management accounting. This was given by Vilfredo Pareto, guys, an Italian economist who observed that 80% of the wealth of Italy, beta, was concentrated in the hands of 20% individuals, while the remaining 80% individuals held only 20% wealth. In India, you might see even more, weird figures. But anyways, beta, so people made it as the 80-20 rule or 70-30 rule. People said, guys, in majority of the areas, you can see, beta, that 20% causes will have 80% impact. Cause and effect relationship. 20% causes will have 80% impact, guys. So you can use this 80-20 or 70-30 phenomena in different aspects of an organization. In different aspects, beta, of an organization. Now, what is that, beta? It says it will help you in prioritizing your problems, goals, and objectives. Say if you have a list of 100 things to be done, guys, make a list as to what are the most important things. Target those things first. 80-20. 80% of your problems will be solved by doing only of those 20% activities first. Selecting key customer relations and service programs. Which customer service program or customer, this thing, guys, relation program is contributing the most towards retention of customers, towards satisfaction of customers. Which employee relationship improvement programs are the most important. If you have 100 options available, guys, you might see 2 or 3 are contributing the most. What are the key performance improvement programs? Allocate physical, financial, and human. Kuch nahi hai, beta. Remember that 20% causes, 80% effects. You can apply Pareto analysis, beta, in pricing of a product. You will see, beta, that consumers give a lot of importance to some 20% quality features, that is 80% value perception of the customer, place importance on them. Or the top management should not be worrying about pricing of every product. Let them concentrate on the pricing of those 20% products which are contributing to 80% profitability. Let the top management concentrate on those 20% customers contributing to 80% profitability, or 30% customers contributing to 70% profitability. Let the materials be segregated as category A, B, C. 10% volume, 70% value, 20, so like that, but you will have classifications of inventories. Activity based costing, let the management concentrate on those 20% cost drivers that is responsible for 80% cost of the organization. 20% cost driver responsible for 80% cost. You should concentrate on reducing the level of those cost drivers as such better. Quality control, guys, you tackle those 20% causes better having 80% quality issues first. So this Pareto analysis better will have huge amount of importance in your business, huge amount of importance. They gave a practical question, guys, in the examination along with comment part better is this only: 20% causes having 80% effects. Please do not forget this. वापस बोल रहा हूँ बेटा, you should be good at writing comments in the exam. Finally, guys, we have environmental management accounting, something that is, very, very important. The other day only, but I've read a news article stating that Tesla is in talks with a Canadian-based company, guys, to acquire a metal which will have a low carbon impact as such, guys. Thinking about environment again. So guys, environmental management accounting का मतलब क्या होता है बेटा? Management accounting, guys, is use of accounting information for decision making. Management accounting beta is using information for decision making. Yes or no? Environmental management accounting, guys, is the process of collection and analysis of information relating to environmental cost for internal decision making. You should be able to collect and analyze information in relation to environmental cost so that you are able to take decisions properly as such, guys. Do not forget, beta, lately all the countries, guys, have become very, very serious about the global warming, the impact that different businesses have on environments as such, guys. Look at the oil spill, beta, near Maldives as such, guys. Look at the oil spill, guys. Look at the accident as such, beta, near the Sri Lankan waters, the Indian vessel, guys. So people are very, very serious about all of this as such, beta. Identify and estimate environment related cost and try to control those costs. This is environmental management all about. Try to identify. First beta is collection and analysis of information for internal decision making. Your objective is to identify those costs and see how can you control those costs. This would be very, very important beta in pricing your product properly. Because if you know that your product beta has a huge amount of environmental impact, you will want to recover a higher price from the consumers to compensate for that environmental impact, or you will try to reduce those environmental costs. It will help you in budgeting your cost properly as such, guys, because all these years beta organizations have been ignoring environmental cost. Now we know better that there are huge amount of fines, penalties levied on organizations if they fail to comply with all of these regulations better. So you will have to take all of those costs better for budgeting and investment appraisal also. पहले बेटा people आजकल क्या है बेटा, a lot of requirements are there. We have the green tribunal beta in India. So they should take all of these environmental impact as such, guys, cost while appraising an investment. Should you be taking up a particular project or not? Guys, we gave many examples, guys. ITC hotels का मैं क्या बोला बेटा? The tagline of ITC hotels beta was responsible luxury. Responsible. We care about the environment as such, guys, while giving you those luxury products, luxury living as such, guys. Calculating cost, it would help you better in determining the correct cost and savings on account of environmental projects. Yeah, you will understand better once we do the different types of environmental costs and the advantages of those. Now your classification of environmental costs, guys, we primarily divide them into 4 categories better. Conventional costs, which are reported in your books of accounts as raw material and power cost. Remember, a majority of environmental costs better are raw material and power cost only. You have a lot of wastages being rolled out in the environment as such, guys, or your material beta is not biodegradable as such, guys. It will have an impact on raw material. The way you are procuring your power, guys, is having an impact on environment. That is coal based power as such beta. So conventional cost are raw material and power cost. Hidden cost, guys, somewhere under your overheads, they are reported. They're not reported as raw material and overhead cost. When you're transporting your product from one location to the other location, it is also having an environmental impact. Contingent cost beta, the cost that can arise on a later date, guys, that can arise on a later date due to some lawsuits as such, guys, or government regulations. Relationship cost, The cost of preparing reports as such beta and complying with the regulations are compliance, basically your relationship cost. So you have conventional cost, hidden cost, contingent cost guys, and relationship cost. In reality beta, we simply divide them into internal and external cost. Internal cost beta is something that is having a direct impact on the organization. External cost beta is having an impact on the society at large. You have been manufacturing plastic bottles में water as guys, and you're circulating it. It is not having any direct impact on your organization because you are under no obligation guys to collect those bottles and dispose it, but it is having an impact on the society at large. As such guys. इसीलिए बेटा, if you see a lot of European nations guys are given credits if they come and return the plastic bottles. This is how beta they are ensuring as such guys that plastic bottles are not just thrown away. That is a responsible way of collecting waste as such beta. Again, other classification, something that is very, तो पहले बेटा classification was we have conventional cost, hidden cost, contingent cost and relationship cost. I said in reality you might divide them better into internal cost and external cost. The other classification beta is just like cost of quality. You have environmental prevention cost, appraisal cost, internal failure and external failure. Environmental prevention cost beta is the cost that an organization is incurring in order to ensure that there is no negative impact on the environment. Environmental appraisal cost beta is to check whatever measures they have implemented as such beta are properly being executed or not. Is it serving the purpose or not? Internal failure beta, you have collected waste in the organization, you're disposing of in the right manner as such beta, that is internal failure. External failure beta is those pollutants that you're releasing in the environment as such guys, having an impact on the entire society. So you can divide cost beta into these four categories also: environmental prevention cost, appraisal cost, internal failure cost and external failure cost. Yes beta, the next aspect beta is identification of environmental cost. There was some problem with the screen. This has come in the examination guys for 8 marks as such guys. Remember, practical question on environmental management accounting will be the application of ABC analysis to identify environmental cost guys and allocate it to the different products based on the environmental cost drivers. So along with that beta, they can ask you the different methods of environmental management accounting and also the advantages guys of environmental management accounting, advantages or disadvantages. So there are 4 methods guys for identification of environmental cost. We have input output ratio, we have flow cost accounting guys, we have life cycle costing and we have ABC beta. Input output ratio is simple guys. It says measure the total weight of raw material guys being introduced into the process, measure the total quantity of raw material or total quantity weight of the product being delivered to the customer. The difference is the waste that you're creating in the process. There was an input of 100 kgs, output is only 80 kgs, then the waste generated is 20 kgs beta. Out of that 20 kgs also, how much scrap do you have and how much has been released into the environment? That is input output ratio guys. That is your input output ratio guys, measuring the relation between the input and the output to determine what is the waste. Flow cost accounting guys basically measures the flow of materials as well as power guys at every stage. We call them as power flow beta, and it is basically beta talking about your input cost, material cost beta. It talks about your system cost, it talks about delivery or disposal cost. What is the cost of procuring raw material as such guys? You will measure that every stage. You will measure your labor cost, other production expenses at every stage. What is the cost of delivering the product to the consumer or disposing the waste in the organization? This is basically guys flow cost accounting. It will measure the quantity of raw material at every stage. It will also measure better the power consumption and everything better at every stage, dividing the cost better into your input cost better, system cost and delivery or disposal cost. That is flow cost accounting. And then better life cycle costing better says analyze the cost over the life cycle of a product. I gave an example of Xerox in the class that I said Xerox uses this, Xerox company better uses this, and they've changed their packing material. They've changed their packing material guys because the earlier packing material was having an environmental impact. ABC guys is try to identify the cost drivers for different environmental costs guys and then allocate those environmental costs to the products guys for more accurate costing based on those environmental cost drivers. Environmental cost will be allocated to the products based on environmental cost drivers. What is the amount of emissions? Uske basis pe you will allocate cost. So that is a more accurate way of arriving at the cost of a product, which can be used better in better pricing of the product. That is why the usefulness of environmental management accounting was costing a product as well as better budgeting as well as pricing of a product. Now I hope you're trying to understand. But all of these 4 methods are important. Do not forget to go through them. Controlling environmental cost guys, at what are all the places? Raw material mein beta you can use an environmental friendly material guys, one that is not resulting in huge amount of wastages. That is where beta I told you these days people use guys recycled plastic as a raw material, environmental friendly guys. Or I gave an example of Tesla using nickel as a metal beta for their batteries. Power, guys, shift to renewable sources of energy as such, guys. The green plants that you're seeing better these days, solar powered plants as such, guys, renewable source of energy. It will not have any impact on the environment. Water, guys, try to reduce your water consumption. We spoke about Coca-Cola in the class, guys, how the water consumption reduced from 4 liters to only 1.8 liters for every 1 liter of beverage being manufactured. Shift to better ways of transportation and travel, guys, which is having lesser impact on your environment as such, guys. And then better ensure that the waste is reduced in your business operations. I hope you understand better. These are different scenarios better wherein you can control environmental costs. This can be used to answer a case study also, guys. You can use this, guys, to answer a case study also. Now finally, beta, what is the role of EMA in product or pricing decisions? I told you guys, once you allocate cost appropriately, it can be used, guys, to understand how should you be pricing a product, repricing of a product due to accurate costing. If there is nothing that can be done to reduce cost, you will go back and try to redesign the product. You might simply eliminate few products because they're having a huge environmental impact. You might eliminate few products, or you will want to redesign them, and you will try to innovate to reduce your environmental cost. The advantage of being environmental implementing this properly is that your revenues will increase, your cost will reduce. Undoubtedly, beta, people will prefer those companies, guys, which are basically concerned about the environment. Disadvantage, guys, in order to meet all of these compliance, sometimes the cost will actually increase as such, guys, if you're unable to find ways of reducing cost. And if you do not meet with this, there might be huge amount of cost of failure. There might be huge amount of fines and regulations. Reasons for controlling environmental costs, guys. There's a lot of things spoken about the carbon footprint of different companies as such, guys. So more and more amount of nations as such, guys, are becoming aware of this, and they're trying to evaluate companies on the basis of carbon footprint, the emissions into the environment. We know better how in China a lot of companies were forced to close better because they were coal powered and they were contributing to pollution. Then, guys, environmental costs are becoming huge. They might levy huge amount of penalties. The regulations are continuously increasing worldwide. So this is, yes, guys, the reasons for controlling environmental cost. I hope everyone has understood, guys. You've spoken about cost control, cost reduction, environmental management accounting. Under cost reduction, guys, we spoke about target costing, and then we spoke about life cycle costing. And guys, under cost control, we spoke about Pareto analysis. And here, guys, lastly, environmental management accounting. I do not have to repeat again that this chapter is very, 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 very important, guys, both for practical questions as far as those comments or theory part. So ensure that you do it thoroughly as such, guys. Revise it first one day for the examination. Master this chapter. Okay, guys, that's it for now, guys. I will see you in the next class, beta, with another revision. Bye bye, guys.